Well, now we go back to something that happened to me at a tent revival down in Pennsylvania some years ago. Down in Mifflinburg, Pennsylvania, I believe Mifflin Town perhaps. I was in a tent meeting down there, and I was the evangelist that was preaching. And God spoke to me on a verse that is really unique. It's a verse that excited me, and I just want to read this verse. I was a man of a simple mind, and I read this verse, and I didn't know what it means, but I asked the Lord, like I did in some other verses in my life, Lord, reveal to me what this verse means, because it concerns me in my heart that I follow it. This is what it says, and it's found this is in King James, Matthew 26, verse 13. It says, Verily I say unto you, wherever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this which this woman has done be told for a memorial of her. And I came across that verse, and that was the first place where I preached that message on that. But what does that mean? I've traveled the world, I've preached in other continents, and what does this mean? Does this mean at the end of a message I need to say what Mary did to Jesus, pouring oil on him? Is that what it means as a memorial? And it just would not make sense to me entirely what this meant. One day God showed me. He answered my request and he gave me a revelation of this. What Mary did is she broke all she had on the feet of Jesus. And see, then what happened is she had this beautiful perfume, and it was in a bottle in an alabaster box, and it was sealed up. And the only way you could pour it out is if you break it. That's the type of surrendered life that we live, a life of brokenness, a life that has been poured out for the cause of Christ, just broken out for each other. And what she did is she anointed Jesus with her life. And I saw the meaning. And then Judas was critical immediately and made a statement. He said, why did you do that? Pour out that expensive stuff. You could have taken that, and we could have sold it, and we could have given it to the poor. Now, Jesus said then, if you read, he said that it wasn't that he was so concerned about the poor. He was just criticizing. Well, that gained meaning in my heart. And I see that there's a lot of programs that many churches have, and always for the poor, the poor. Jesus said you'll always have the poor, but me you don't always have. And I saw this conviction, and I think part of it is because of all the things I've gone through. I've suffered for righteousness' sake for many years in a lot of different things. And I saw that in the church realm, there is so few people that want to pour out their lives on those that have Jesus. They'd rather ridicule them and accuse them. And I saw this very clearly, and it was a conviction. I believe God revealed it to me, and it's been part of a ministry and vision for this church, Oasis Tabernacle. I believe it is exactly what we have been called to do. We are to bless those and minister to those that have Jesus. Now, we've even had some people leave our church that were so opposed to that thinking. But the reason I believe that some people have criticized that is they have never had enough persecution in their own life to know what it would feel like to be ministered to. And let me say this, as I understand ministry and preachers around the world that have suffered and suffered and suffered from ridicule and people finding faults in them, and from evangelists to traveling evangelists, that they're always being finding fault. And that's the story of what I know. It is largely the story that I know. And I saw this conviction that wherever the gospel is preached, we need to minister to those that have Jesus. Pour out our lives on them too. Not just the poor that we always have with us, but those that have Jesus.